Greetings. So for a short while, I'm probably doing 2 videos a week. It's just me in the house. My mother's at rehab. So let's do a video. Today we're going to talk about sleep. I've always had problems with sleep. Somehow I just can't sleep long. Used to be that I didn't sleep more than 4 hours a night, sometimes 3. I still have that now, although some of it's been related to my shoulder surgery. Even now, I'm not wearing a sling anymore, but I still have some pain, so that wakes me up a lot. But I've been trying a lot of things since, my God, at least the 90s. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that I've done and what has worked and what has not worked. So the first thing I did was back in the mid-2000s, I went and got a sleep study, and it was determined I needed a Cpap. And I tried it, and I just couldn't get used to it. It was really loud and such. So I stopped taking it. Then I realized I just got worse. And so I went for another sleep study, got another Cpap, only this time a BiPAP, which basically says that you breathe in, you breathe out, and the machine adjusts itself so it feels like you don't have any problem with it. Yes, you do have some air pressure coming in there, but actually it's somewhat invigorating. It's invigorating to the point that sometimes in the afternoon, actually sometimes it could be like 2 or 3 times a day, if I feel like I need just a quick boost, I go into the bedroom, I put on the mask, I put on the BiPAP, and I just breathe for 10 to 15 minutes, and it gives me a boost. So the CPAP was a good thing because it helped me to sleep better, not longer, but better. And it gave me a little bit more energy every once in a while. So I got to count that and say that if you think you have sleep apnea or certain, things like that, you need to go see someone. And maybe they'll give you a test, and maybe you can find a way to medically, quote unquote, medically make yourself feel better. Next, the noise. I mentioned with the first CPAP, it was just so loud. There was nothing I could do. And, because it ramps. In other words, it starts out really low, and then the pressure builds up to a certain point. And the more the pressure builds up, the louder it gets. And that was miserable. Well, the BiPAP kind of does that. What happened is that my sleep doctor decided that my pressure should be higher. Well, the higher the pressure, the more noise it makes, even if it's quieter than it used to be. So what I started doing many years ago, I've been doing it for over 10 years now, are putting in earplugs. And earplugs aren't bad because they can block almost all the noise. Sometimes if you want to try to put it in deeper, it will block all the noise and you won't hear anything. The only problem with earplugs, actually there's 2 problems. One is sometimes you've pushed it in a little further than you want to. You can always get it out, but you're always worried about that time where you're just like, oh my God, is this the time where I've pushed it in so far it ain't coming out? You'll always get it out. But the other thing is that it makes your ears itch, the inside. And, it's not like you can just do this. You can try to put your finger in there. So I go through a lot of Q-tips. But I don't mind going through the Q-tips because sometimes I just need to be able to sleep. And quite often, I don't understand how this works, by the way. I only have to put it in my left ear. I don't have to put it in my right ear all the time. I don't understand it, but I'm good with it because the right ear really is the one that hates having to wear the earplugs. So I'm not mad at that. But earplugs can be used at almost any time of the day for doing almost anything. I've done it when the guys are here cutting the grass and, it's right outside the window and I'm trying to do some stuff. And I can turn up my music louder, but I don't want my music that loud. So sometimes I just pop in the earplugs for a little bit. But that's something to think about. Do I sleep longer? No. But does it help me to sleep? Yes. So there you go. Then it was suggested, well, let's try those curved pillows. Those curved pillows? They're spongy. There's the curved pillow. There's the pillow with the hole in it. I couldn't handle the smell of the pillow. And you would think by putting on the CPAP that would, eliminate that. Nah, that didn't work. Matter of fact, you have to go through all kind of gesticulations to figure out how to sleep on those types of pillows wearing a CPAP mask. Oh, that was miserable. I mean, because the thing is right there next to it. The CPAP will block a lot of smells, but if something is right there next to it, you just can't. And the foam, I just couldn't handle it. My goodness. It made my eyes burn. It made my nose feel like it was burning. Maybe those things work for a lot of other people. That didn't work for me. And just trying to find, if I could have found a way just to actually be comfortable, maybe. I tried sleeping on my back, which I couldn't do at the time. I don't do it well now. But I tried sleeping on my back. It just wasn't having it. So that was a waste of money. Then I tried the most expensive thing, which is I got a brand new mattress. And I've had my mattress for the longest time. But I got a new mattress. It was a little more cushy. It's a lot thicker. But the new mattress, after maybe a couple of weeks, your body just says, okay, so it's a mattress. Big deal. Now, I probably should have gone for, no, I shouldn't have done it. But they had a mattress that was $3,700. And you laid down on it, and it just said, come here, baby. Let me hold you. And it felt really wonderful. Oh, my goodness. In the store, I said, am I just going to fall asleep here? And I didn't, but I really wanted to. And it just envelops your body. I just couldn't pull the trigger on a $3,700 mattress. If they let you take that thing home for 3 months and you got to test it, without putting any money down, maybe I'd have thought about it. But I just couldn't pull the trigger on anything like that. So the mattress I bought cost enough money. But like I said, after a couple weeks, it's just a mattress. So that didn't work. So then I have recliners. I had recliners before my mother came here. I didn't have reclining lift chairs, but I had recliners. So I tried to sleep in a recliner. Once again, the problem was I couldn't sleep on my back. So it didn't matter. And I am not a recliner kind of guy. I am a recliner that's a rocking chair kind of guy. I'm good with a rocking chair, but you can't really sleep if you're rocking. So that wasn't going to work. So then there were people who said, well, you should try meditating before you go to bed. You know what? I can't meditate. I just can't do it. Sometimes you try to meditate, you fall asleep. Sometimes you try to meditate and you start thinking of, well, either business, that's me, or bad things. I mean, I meditate and I think back to things that happened back in the 70s when I was a kid and some people I wish I could get back at. I think that's probably bad meditation. I don't think that's what meditation was for. But that's what happens to me. I just can't handle the idea that I'm going to sit on the bed or on the floor somewhere and try to meditate. I tried it in a recliner. That didn't work. So meditation doesn't work for everybody. It did not work for me. So then they said, well, maybe you're too hot or maybe you're too cold. Try finding the right temperature. I live in central New York. In the winter, it's cold. In the summer, for some people in the country, they may say, well, that's not hot. But for us, it's hot when you've had the cold. And sometimes, like this time of the year, this morning, it's 45 degrees. Later on, it's going to be 75. At what point do you find the right temperature? When I went to bed last night, it was 66 degrees. And when I woke up this morning, it was 43. And I can put on the electric blanket and set it on a low thing, but it means you go to bed and even with the electric blanket, now you're hot. And then you wake up later on and you're not quite truly comfortable because your body's saying, you can kick that heat up a little bit more if you'd like to, but it's just things that you have to deal with. So there's no way of finding the right temperature. And I have a fan above the bed, but not for this time of year. So that's rough. Then I decided to go the medicated route, take some stuff. So I started with something called Valerian Root. And I got to tell you the truth. Valerian Root did do one oddly positive thing for me. It started me dreaming again. I hadn't had a dream in 11 or 12 years. Not counting when I had surgery and they gave me something to put me to sleep. So I hadn't had any dreams. I could not remember anything, nothing, for a long, long time. And so I decided to take Valerian Root. It was supposed to be a sleep thing. And I started having dreams. And that wasn't so bad. What did I have a problem with? I was waking up tired. And that just wasn't good. I would wake up. I couldn't get back to sleep, but I didn't want to get out of bed. Eventually, I'd get out of bed. And then a couple hours later, I'd want to be back in bed. I didn't say I fell asleep, but I want to be back in bed. And that was hard. But I took that stuff for 3 years because I was dreaming. And then I stopped taking it. I said, nah, you know what? Let's see what happens if I stop taking it. I still dream. I don't sleep any better or worse, but I'm not waking up as groggy. And that's going to be the theme with the next one, which is melatonin. Melatonin is one of those iffy things because you can buy melatonin in 3 milligram, 5 milligram, 10 milligram, but if you read the science online, it says you shouldn't probably be taking more than 1 to 1.5 milligrams. Sometimes they just recommend you cut the pill in half. I can't say that melatonin ever helped me sleep. It might have been more psychological on my mind. And my problem, by the way, is not falling asleep. I've always been able to fall asleep. Staying asleep is my problem. So the problem with my melatonin? I was tired all day long. And I was taking that initially with the Valerian Root. Then I decided, nope, I'm going to give up the Valerian Root. I'll just take the melatonin. I was just exhausted. And it's odd in the fact that since I stopped taking the melatonin about a month ago, I don't sleep more, but I wake up. And I feel like I have energy waking up. That's strange because I'm still not sleeping all that long, but I actually have energy. If it was warmer, I'd get up and I'd go outside for a walk. I actually did that yesterday because yesterday morning it was 54 and I said I'm going out for a walk. I may be going out for a walk once it hits the 50s, this morning. I still have time. So then I said, well, they got acetaminophen and ibuprofen PM. They've got the Benadryl, whatever. So I started trying some of those things. And I had, different reactions to it. Ibuprofen PM, nothing. Didn't affect me at all. Didn't even, reduce any pain I had. Acetaminophen PM, oh my goodness. It just kept me really tired throughout the entire day. Even if I drank 6 cups of iced tea. And, it sounds like a bunch until you realize that when I make, iced tea, I put it in a big, gigantic mug and I steep it and then I put it in my gigantic, really big, ice mug. The mugs that you go to the gas station, they've got those gigantic things. That's where I put it in. So that basically equates to 3 cups. I will do that twice. It would not overcome the acetaminophen PM. I tried the Benadryl. Had no effect whatsoever. So I said, you know what? No, I can't do that. If my mother wasn't living with me, I might have, kept up with that. But going, like sleepwalking through your entire day, that's lousy. The last thing is something I just decided to try, which is the Cbd oil. I give that to my mother when she's here. And it seems to help her sleep a little longer. It doesn't totally do everything that it's purported to do, but it seemed to work on her. So I had been worried about trying to take it because, I'm old school and the stuff about the CBD and the marijuana and whatever and such. And I wanted to make sure that I was always going to be ready to help my mother if she needed it, but she's not here. So I've tried it for the last couple of nights. The first night I did half a stopper. Now, because that's how you can buy it. You can buy it in these things that have the stopper. I buy it at Wegmans grocery store because I live here in, Central New York. And I trust Wegmans. So a full stopper is 15 milligrams. But I took half of that the first night. Nothing. So I did it last night. I took the full 15, put the stopper in water, then did it another time, mix it in the water. Nothing. Because like I said, my problem is not falling asleep. I'm tired. And that didn't really work. So I don't know. And the last thing I'm going to mention, because someone's going to ask, unless I say this, exercise. Exercise will help make you tired and exercise will help you fall asleep. Let me tell you something. The day a few weeks ago where I walked 21 miles in one day, I slept 3 hours. Last night or yesterday, I walked 11 and a half miles and I barely broke 5 hours of sleep. So you're not going to sleep more. And maybe you're not supposed to sleep more. Maybe everyone is not supposed to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Maybe I'm just an anomaly. And let's face the fact here. I'm an anomaly when it comes to diabetes. Diabetes, recommendations are to be between 80, and 120 as far as the number. I don't really know what that number means. Yes, I do. It tells you, how your blood sugar or glucose is behaving. It's, it's the standard that you look at. If it's too low, that's a bad thing. If it's too high, that's a bad thing. Well, my numbers have never been that. If my number is below 100, I get antsy. I start getting agitated. I start getting dizzy. If I can keep my number basically under 150 or lower, I'm fine. Even my physician, after all these years, or I've been going to the Jocelyn Center, says, you know what, you're just built different. Your numbers, you trend a little bit higher, but you're fine. Well, thank you for that. I mean, I'm the guy who has high potassium where everyone else is potassium deficient. So, maybe that's just how it is. And you know what, my friend Kelvin, for the most part, basically sleeps 4 or 5 hours a night. Now, every once in a while, it hits him, and then he's down for maybe 8 to 10 hours. That might be nice to have an 8 to 10 hour night. I've only had one of those in the last 2 years, and I woke up really tired. So that didn't necessarily make me feel any better. But, everything isn't for everybody. You have to try to figure out what you can do to make yourself feel better so that you can get through your day. But at least I've shared what I've tried to do. Y'all have any tricks that helps you to sleep better? And by the way, I did try the music and the water sounds and the wind sounds, but I can't really hear any of that stuff over the BiPAP, especially when I have earplugs in. We all have our issues. But look, I've done this Sunday morning. I'm putting this out Sunday morning, and I'm alert. I'm awake. And I'm wearing my Black Lives Matter shirt. What could be better than that? My name is Mitch Mitchell. Y'all have a wonderful week.